so many things that keep getting declassified. All of these things happen over and over again. And each time, by the way, you would guess that they're like not going to be a big deal. And They seem to be getting bigger and bigger. The snowball keeps snowing, Will.
Is that a phrase that people say?
I say it.
So what we have today is this declassified annex to the Durham report. So this is a lot of the underlying intelligence that John Durham, the special counsel, looked
I don't see
at.
a lot of underlying intelligence.
We normally don't. You don't normally get to look at raw intelligence and things of that nature. But this is about a 29-page annex, and it goes through really...
From Chuck Grassley. What do you mean annex?
So Chuck Grassley released this through.
We have a church annex.
Right. Well, it's the same word.
I'm just trying to see. Let's describe this to
I'm about to, yeah. So the annex is a part that was attached to his report that had a lot of the sourcing and the analysis and the actual underlying documents and intelligence that led to his conclusions in the actual report. This is like if you're writing a research paper, this is your source material for a lot of it.
This is why the ACLJ is here, so you don't have to read the annexes.
Right. Well, no one was supposed to be reading the annex until now because it was a classified document. It contained a lot of sources and methods. And even in this, there is a lot of redactions, but there's a lot that you can infer from that, as well as other reporting that lets you know where some of this came from. But this really goes through this classified annex or classified appendix, however you want to refer to it, it goes through really where a lot of the information came from about the Clinton intelligence plan, the Clinton plan intelligence, which was the entire goal of the Clinton campaign to distract from her own email server issues and to look and put the focus on Donald Trump having ties to Russia.
Once again, just like when Tulsi Gabbard dropped stuff, you got to back this up. And you look through these documents, and it backs it up time after time after time. There are direct instances where you see it couldn't even be clearer that they were trying to plant this, that they were using sources that were not trustworthy, using Russian sources that they knew were likely creating this content for misinformation, and then citing them to create something, again, like the Steele dossier, which then you can report on, then they can cover. Even that is not supposed to be proper, but it was all done with intention, and now it's coming out, and it's coming to light. Honestly, all this really does, Will, is confirm that the players that you thought were doing this were the players that were doing this, and if you thought they were doing it, you were right.
One of the things that is now coming to light is we've heard all about the hacking of the DNC by the Russians, and that was always kind of the focus, hacking of the DNC. But what we're finding out is that it wasn't just a targeted attack of the DNC email servers and addresses. Actually, this was a very broad Russian campaign where they were hacking government agencies, they were hacking nonprofits, they were hacking think tanks and things of the like. And one of those happened to be the Open Society Foundation. That's George Soros, used to be known as the Soros Foundation, which has been a boogeyman of sorts for conservative politics for a long time because of all of the work they do to
influence.
They spend a lot of money to elect Democrats and push their agenda on the world.
And I don't think they would tell you otherwise.
No, that's right. Yeah. And what we've seen with whether it be the local DAs, they spend money to elect, to change the way the nature of our judicial system works, all the way up to communicating with DNC chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz during the 2016 election cycle. And this is now the documents that we were talking about earlier in the week. Remember, we told you about that there was the Dutch intelligence agency told the CIA and the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, right?
You said Dutch.
No, it was the Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch intelligence.
But that's not what it's called.
I like to call it.
You're going to go with that. We have a DIA here.
No, but this is the DDIA.
All right, that's fair. And so the Dutch told the CIA, hey, we were spying on Russia, and we found their intelligence on what they were picking up from these hacks, including the Soros Foundation, reading these emails between individuals in the Clinton campaign, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as well as the Soros Foundation. And so they have not only some of the underlying emails, they also have the memos Russia was creating about their intelligence, what they were finding out. And here is one of the very first things that is fascinating is that they picked up this confidential discussion during the Soros Foundation representative for Eurasia with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the chair of the DNC. And it was characterizing the situation in her party in light of the growing scandal around Hillary Clinton as follows. Information released to the media in the last few days about FBI investigating possible corruption related to the Department of State under leadership of Clinton, preferential treatment of donors of the Clinton Foundation caused a significant negative reaction inside the party. According to Wasserman Schultz, FBI so far does not have persuasive evidence against Hillary Clinton because of the timely deletion of relevant data from email servers. Obama has no intention to darken the final part of his presidency and legacy by scandals surrounding the main contender for the Democrat Party. To solve the problem, the president puts pressure on the FBI director, James Comey, through Attorney General Lynch, however, so far without concrete results, meaning that the scandal was continuing to build. They also have these emails talking about the member of the Soros Foundation telling Debbie Wasserman Schultz that he's been speaking with someone at the Clinton campaign about tying President Trump to Russia. Now, you also look at all this, and this is an intel report of an intel report. So we should caution people that there's a reason we don't see underlying intelligence often. We see the conclusions from it because it can get messy, and we have to describe each layer of where it came from. But what John Durham gets to in this is that they did the investigation of this intelligence. Also, the CIA director thought it was credible enough to take it to the President of the United States himself, and even took it to James Comey in this referral. So they believed that this was credible evidence. John Durham actually did the investigation on the back end with these individuals, reporting them. When they talk about these emails, what the Durham believes and what the intelligence community believes is that all of these reports are a composite of all the stuff they got. So they had emails of different individuals from Soros Foundation, from DNC, all talking about these things, and they compiled these reports together. So this isn't a verbatim quote when you read this of what was said, but this is what was said, and the intelligence community believed it, as well as the Durham report, and John Durham, the special counsel, said this is credible. You know what also makes it credible?
They just wanted to believe
it's how it played out.
Yeah.
Because now we know history. So they were talking about their plan to tie President Trump to Russia and all these things.
And
then
still happens.
Even saying the FBI will add fuel to the fire once we disseminate it through sources like CrowdStrike. They were talking about all this in the emails and stuff before it happened. And we know that's exactly what happened.
That's why I said earlier, it's not necessarily this is all surprising that it happened. It's surprising that the paper trail is this clear. That it's clear that it happened. They were not being that quiet about it.